Recently, of course, with the untimely passing of X, you guys had a lot of history. What was your relationship with him before he died? And we saw the tattoo on Instagram. You got to remember him.
I mean,
How did all that like?
what happened was like, me and X relationship was like, it go like this, and it go like this. Go like this, go like this.
I
But
can relate.
at the end, it was like this at the end. You know, you just gotta understand, like, you know, he was fighting a lot within himself too. You know, it's hard, man. Like dealing with like a case that's like been going on for a while. Everybody calling you this, and you know, just like dealing with the whole controversy around your name and everything and what it brings. Like it could get hard. He was only like, I don't know, like 17, 18, 19 years old. But when I first met him, you know, it was cool. Like when he stayed with me, it was cool, straight up. Nothing bad about it. You know what I'm saying? When it came down to the Geneva situation, that's where it got turbulent between me and him. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what the fuck? You could just call me, you feel me? If anything. And that's what me and him talked about. And then it go like this and go like this. I'll have a certain grudge, he'll have a certain grudge about whatever. But the last conversation we had, it was talk about everything. We talked about every single thing. That what was bothering him about me and what was bothering me about him. And we literally got it to where it was like the most stable thing we had in a long time from where we first met. Because when we first met, it was stable as shit. It was stable as fuck. Nothing bad. Because like, I could tell you straight up, like he put me on stuff like One Punch Man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like One Punch
anime,
Man.
yeah,
like,
hell yeah.
Anime shit, yeah. And then we would talk about J-stars and stuff. But the last conversation we had, it was just basically about like life path numbers, same sign, like what was going on with our lives, like what's happening, why you changed this, why you changed this, why was this going on, what's your, like what is God, like who is God, like what is it about, like what is this life about, what you had to do in order to be a better person. But me and him had the same perspective about a lot of things. And both our life path numbers are 6, and both of us are both Aquariuses. Same sign, same everything. And it was just like, yo, he was like, bruh, it makes no sense why me and you weren't best friends. And I was just like, yeah, I understand that, but you were like a brother to me at a point. You know what I'm saying? You're still like a brother to me if we were able to talk. And that's why it never boiled over, like our relationship of us beefing or whatever, it never boiled over. Cause like, even when the first time I got tried, I went to his court date, cause I don't got no problem with nobody. And I'm gonna keep it that way. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. And like, he was like, you know how to transmute energy. And I was like, yeah, because if you don't transmute that energy, bro, it'll just be bad. And just like, we both know that flaw and perfection, that's just a perception that everybody gives. There's a flaw in something until you perfect it. But even later on, it might be a flaw. And that's what mainly was talking about, flaws and perception. Flaws and perfection is just a perception that everybody see. And like, me and him both know, like, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, but one thing that is like real, that we could both grow and learn from each other. And that was mainly the conversation me and him had. And we usually talk for like 3 hours, 3 to 2 hours, like long conversations. And like, that was the last of our conversation.
Yeah.
And we was friends.
Yeah, it's sad. I know, like, the whole hip-hop community, I mean, of course, especially, you know, like, I think people who knew him and who talked to him, and especially who had been around him, they probably saw a different side than most got to see. So, like, especially, like, after his death, it's always dope to get some additional perspective on who he really was as a person.
I mean, if you see the tats on his face, most of them had a meaning. Every tattoo on his body had a meaning. And, like, that's what he was. And, like, I remember just like a lot of things, yo. Like one day he'll be like super angry, one day he'll be super happy, one day he'll be super depressed. Like he'll just go through moods. Like he'll go through a lot of moods, but
you were able to understand, because you've said that sometimes you have similar experiences, right? Like you'll go through, you'll share something, maybe you'll delete it.
But that was one of the reasons why it was kind of turbulent, because it was like, it was a failure to understand each other. And then the last thing, when we actually sat down and actually talked and like understood where each other was coming from, that relationship was so easy to maneuver. Like he's powerful. He understood I was powerful. He understood everybody had a certain power level and understood how people could go beyond that. And the main thing was about evolving. Don't worry about being perfect, just evolve as much as possible.
It's good that you guys got to have that conversation though. Let it like clear the air, talk about everything.